Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today's team is going to require a bit of an explanation, so I made a whole PowerPoint for it. So, here's Spiderman. Oh, spin on an old classic for Gen 9 PU. What are hazards in PU? We got, Stealth Rock. Like every team has this. You got Uxie, you got Sand/Alola, you've got Rhydon, you got Palisand. I got Sandygast here. Couldn't find the Palisand model. But like every team's got them. You'll find a billion different ones out there that you could pick from. Spikes has become very popular the past couple of months. It's been like soaring. Just every month it gets better. We have both Quillfish from ZU. We stole Quillfish Hisui last month. So they were very happy about that. There's also Sand/Alola. He can set up spikes too. And then there are some people who will lead Frostlass to get as many spikes as they can before Frostlass is gone. They then protect those spikes with a competitive mon, where you defog, lower the evasion, competitive kicks in, which gives them a ×2 Enisp attack. You have webs, which are niche but powerful. There are like dedicated webs offense teams that are really strong, but you don't see them too often. They slow you down, and your Scarfmon that's on the ground will hate life because now it's normal speed, but it locks into an attack. And finally, Toxic Spikes. Skuntank has 4 move slots. Knock Off, Poison Jab, Gunk Shot. It's Gunk Shot over Poison Jab. And then Sucker Punch. That 4th mystery move is something like Toxic, Protect, Explosion, or Toxic Spikes. It's very rarely clicked because we have a lot of Toxic types running. Toxic types! We have a lot of poison types running around in our tier, like Slowbro Galar, who tends to live to the end game, the Quillfish, So setting up Toxic Spikes is usually not the greatest strategy in the world, so long as your opponent's poison types are still in the game. So it rarely gets clicked, but it does exist in PU, so I felt like I had to mention it. Webs in particular, whenever I fight it, I always wish I could just, ignore it. But how do you counter team webs and be good into everything else, right? Am I really gonna take my time to look at webs and say, I want you gone? But, as I've been saying, spikes have been growing in popularity. You see a lot of them now. And what beats webs is good into spikes too. But what is that? Well, in past gens, I've been watching a lot of Gen 3 stuff. That's kind of where I got the idea to do a PowerPoint. You see, he's got Tetrafolium's name's crossed off. He's the guy I listen to in the car, But anyways, in Gen 3, the days before Stealth Rock, there was a strat to levitate, fly above the spikes. They call it Superman. And nowadays, it's called boot spam because you put boots on as many mons as possible. And you just say, oh, nice hazards, I'm going to ignore them. But down at PU, we have a unique position to grab both of them together. We have the webs, we crawl on them with heavy-duty boots, and we use Levitate to fly with them. What does that make us? That makes us Spider-Man! So our slot 1 is the main mon of the team, Scarf Speed Control, because if we're in the air with Scarf, we cannot be slowed down by webs. So here's every flying and levitate mon in PU. We're ignoring hazards, so anything weak to rocks is a trade-off. We're not getting rid of those rocks with this team. We want to cross out Uxie, and we want to cross out Cram. These two just do not have the Spatak or the attack to be a speedster with the Scarf, even though they have the speed to get away with it. And then Bravery Hisui is really pushing it. So we're left with Rodham Heat, Articuno Galar, and Bombardier as our choices to hand our Scarf to. And there are some good options here, but may I suggest looking outside of the tier for our Scarf? So PU's fastest mons that run Scarf are typically 105. You'll find a couple, but not usually anything outside of base 105. So for our flying types, we have Minior, Jumpluff, Dodrio. Jumpluff is not good enough. Cryogonal and Mismagius. We can cross off Minior too because it starts in shield form, and that's not helpful. Cryogonal has no moves. It's got Ice Beam, Terra Blast. It belongs as a niche Rapid Spinner. But if you look at all of these, there's one mon that is not weak to rocks here. That is fast enough for us to really use it, and it's really good into non-webs teams too, to have like a mon that can outpace everything else. So our Spider-Man slot 1 is Mismagius, which is very helpful. It's got decent Spadaf bulk. It's got immunity to Fake Out, Extreme Speed, and Mach Punch. Runs Terra Fairy to resist its crippling weakness to Sucker Punch. And with Terra Fairy, you leave Houndstone's Shadow Sneak after rocks. It's 86 to 99 before Terra. You know, you could, if you're at 100% no rocks, risk the Houndstone Shadow Sneak and not Terra, but then you're never coming back in, and rocks are going to come up eventually. Everyone runs rocks. The only mon that actually uses Bullet Punch, which Terra Fairy makes us weak to, is Hariyama, but like it's still a notable thing to put here. Shadow Ball and D-Gleam are great coverage. Shadow Ball takes out a lot of stuff. Dazzling Gleam takes out a lot of dark types, fighting types. Grass Knot we use because our 4th move is kind of floating. We could use Destiny Bond, but Grass Knot helps weaken the Milos. And Rhydon takes 23% from Shadow Ball. It takes 90% from that 4 times Grass Knot. We also have Trick. That's another move. I mean, it doesn't come up too often, but I bet you could find use for it. So for slot 2, we need a knockoff absorber. We're going to have heavy-duty boots on this team. Mismagius really does not want to take a knockoff, especially because it's our speed control. And so, with grounded heavy-duty boots on the way, how do we stop him? Well, I can tell you what. It's not Uxie. It's not Mesprit. And it's not Vikavolt. They all have the same weakness to Stealth Rock. And we're going to want to bring these knock absorbers in as our physical defense wall so that our other mons don't get hit with knockoff. And because of that, we don't want these two losing Eviolite, leaving us with Weezing or Radamo. Motom's weak to Skuntank, Grafify. Hitmonlee sometimes runs Poison Jab. There's just a decent amount of knockoff users that also have coverage that grass types don't like. And so I chose Weezing. Poison Fire is decent coverage. We could use Will-O-Wisp over Flamethrower. I just do like Flamethrower here. Sludge Bomb can cause status. Pain Split gives us some longevity. And Clear Smog is good against those pesky physical boosters, while also dealing some damage. After slot 2, we start to get a little bit more open with what you want to use. I put dark types here, but you could use any other like Psi Resist if you want. PU is home to a lot of powerful psychic types. You know, you do want an answer to psychic type moves. And if you don't, you're gonna lose. So I have dark types here that I chose from. Brute Bonnet and Quillfish both need their items to be good at the game. So realistically, we're really picking from these 5 mons. And with those, the ones to choose, I went with Wo-Chien. You know, especially defensive to deal with any fairy type moves these guys will throw out, and some defense EVs to live 2 U-turns after Leech Seed. I'm not the best at this game, I recognize that, so my EVs might not be the best for Wo-Chien to hold, but I do like the concept of the set. I've been floating between Terra types, so ignore the Terra bug. I think it's Terra Steel now. I just don't know what to put on him. He doesn't even really want to Terra much. So you see we get like less explanation as the team moves on, because now we're just going to, this is like a rock. We're like, what rock do you want? What stealth rocker do you want? This is Uxie. I wanted Uxie. We have utility, we have U-turn, we've got Encore, which is pretty strong. But like, it's not as in-depth and honed in as those first 3 slots even were. Slot 5 is Ambipom. We've got Fake Out, U-turn, Knockoff, Triple Axle. We've got our secondary speed control for Fake Out and generally fast at the game. And it's physical to Mismagius is special. Finally, slot 6, I went Florges. We have Uxie, we have Wo-Chien, and we have Weezing. So Wish is very much appreciated here, as well as this just being pretty good at dealing damage. Its Stab Moonblast has 112 base attack to fire off of. And with that, that is Spider-Man. He's my version of the team. If you want to take a stab at building better, I'd love to see what he's created. But in the meantime, I have created 2 battles for you to watch. Okay, for the first game, we're actually up against a nearly 1400 player. PU's ladder is small enough that this is about top 500 right here. So we're looking at, you know, some of the better PU players that we're up against with this team. So I lead Uxie off into Hariyama. It's a decent thing here, but I switch out to Wheezing, right? Because Hariyama has knockoff. It runs knockoff, but here it fakes out, takes the damage from the Rocky helmet. Now it's burnt, cool, but it has to switch out because Wheezing is threatening it with attacks as well as just Rocky helmet chip. He switches into Quillfish. He's hoping to get some spikes up, not realizing what my team is. Here I switch into Uxie. He gets that first layer of spikes up. I take this time to get rocks. He flip turns and sends in the Dunsparce. Here, I don't know what this Dunsparce is, so I'm going to go into Wochien as my mixed defender against this, expecting Boon Burst. But instead, this is a support Dunsparce with Stealth Rock. He whiffs Toxic, I whiff Leech Seed. It's embarrassing. I don't realize at this point, by the way, that I'm using leftovers instead of heavy-duty boots, which is kind of a throw. But anyways, he goes into Bombardier. I protect to see what he does. Now go into Wheezing again because I'm waiting for that knockoff, but instead, U-turn. Which is great, great value. It's oh yeah, I can get another spike off. And so we're into Uxie again. I know I'm faster after that last turn, so I go for a Psychic Noise. His healing is blocked, and he goes for his next flip turn, saving this for a sack for later. And he goes into Florges. I don't know what this Florges is, so I just Psy Noise it, take its healing block away. It Moonblast 53. That screams Specs, so I go into my own Florges here. I get ready to Terra Steel on it, and send out a Wish. Going to 29, he switches out. I'm just going to go to full. This must be speed invested Hariyama because he comes back in. An interesting thing about the Smogon standard set for Wish Florges, by the way, is that it outspeeds all Hariyama at 224, I think? And so he thinks he can get the Oko with the guts, but I just Moonblast him and I'm faster. Just this funny Miss Magius. And at this point, I know I have high special defense, so I'm just willing to Moonblast him. I get the lucky drop. He goes for another nasty plot, thinking he'll live, but I get the high roll on the damage roll here. So he goes into his own Florges. He's going to trick, and I'm going to let him here. Because now, I'm really putting pressure on him since I have Specs. But he switches out to Dunsparce, never to return. He's going to return later, don't worry. I got the Moonblast on him. I'm pretty safe to stay in because all he has is Boom Burst. And he can't Toxic me on the Steel type. But nonetheless, I go to Ambipom for now. Go for the Fake Out. Because I want to get the damage in on him. Right, when he's weak here, get rid of his leftovers while I can. I mean, he's going to go for the kill, but Ambipom's pretty strong here. He just goes for his fancy Roost. Boom Burst still isn't doing much because obvious. But I now switch into Psy Noise. And this is devious. Because I do the Psy Noise, right? I do it specifically so I can stop him from roosting. And I know he's going to want to get out of here. So he's going to go into Bombardier. And so I'm one step ahead of him. He goes into Bombardier. I'm already at Wochien. Still don't realize somehow, by the way, that I'm leftovers. How do you not? I take that U-turn. I take it nicely. What, Leech Seed? I do Leech Seed here, yes. So I Ruination. Ruination is a nice middle ground. Either he switches and he takes big damage, or he doesn't switch and he takes big damage, right? Instead of just leeching the incoming, potentially. But I miss Ruination, which is a bit sad. He goes into Bombardier. I'll do it again. I can live another U-turn here, but I want to protect because, I don't know, because I wanted to scout it. I still didn't realize I had leftovers somehow. Because, in the next game, you'll see me have leftovers again. And that's when I finally realized I was using leftovers. So anyways, Ambipom comes in here, Dunsparce. And I finally got the Dunsparce where I want it because Triple Axle is in 2-co from this range. So he's going to come in. He's going to bring his Quillfish in to sack it. And Triple Axle will get the kill in exchange for some Rocky Helmet. Brings in Bombardier. I feel like right here he's going to Sucker Punch. Like, right, this is why you bring in Bombardier, is to Sucker Punch. So Weezing shuts that down immediately. And he indeed Sucker Punches. Goes to Florges, and unfortunately, Sludge Bomb is not a kill. And I'm afraid that he's going to like go for Synthesis, right? So I'm looking to, get in front of that. But nope, he just Moonblast. I don't know if he has anything on that. So I Gleam. Gleam covers in the Dunsparce switch in, so he goes to Bombardier, as I wanted him to. Wochien comes in, and he dies. I sack Wochien. Because now the Dunsparce can't do anything. Because now Dazzling Gleam, he can't switch in with Dazzling Gleam. And he forfeits because he realizes that that's game. So this is the other game, and I think it's really funny. Because I know he's going to lead Frostlass, so I will lead Wochien. I know he's going to go for Spikes. Because he doesn't realize what my team is. I miss Leech Seed, unfortunately. But it really doesn't matter. Because here I go for the second Leech Seed. So now I can go for Knockoff and get it cursed. Cool. Frostlass got its 3 spikes up, and those aren't going away. He brings in Milo. Milo is really scary because it's a wall of the tier. I want to see, why is he bringing in Milo? Does it have Ice Beam? It does. Right? I want him to think here that I'm afraid. I'm afraid and scouting out his Milo for Ice Beam so that I can switch Wochien out to something else that can better take it, like Florges, say. But he stays into Ice Beam as I then go for the counter Bleach Seed. And I realize what this team is. It's a lead Frostlass, Spikes, and then this Milotic is to prevent Defog because it's competitive. This is competitive Milotic with Life Orb. It's just full aggro Milo. Unfortunately for him, I don't care. I go for the mid-ground Ruination here. It's at this point, by the way, that I finally realize, right here, that I have leftovers. Oh, hey, I'm healing. Very fun. Weezing comes in because Hitmonlee has Knockoff. There it is. And it'll go down to knock off my Rocky Helmet. Next up is Espeon. Espeon's a Psychic type. And guess who we're bringing in? Wochien. Very fun. He goes for the Trick, which I don't mind. I mean, he gets leftovers. I wish I gave him Heavy Duty Boots, but oh well. The Spell Tag's gone, and I'm ready to just sack Wochien at this point. But he roars me out instead. To probably the worst thing he could roar me out to. Hey, look at my Houndstone. It's up against the physically defensive Weezing. And he mistakes the fact that I don't have an item. Flamethrower works wonders here since Fluffy makes it 2 times weak to his already low Spadef. And he brings in the Milotic. I should have switched. I should have just went to Wochien, but I stayed in. I don't get punished for it. That's fun. And now I decide to finally switch to Wochien and just take it. And I do take the Hydro Pump. It's not fun. But that's fine. It's weak. And Ambipom can clean up with Fake Out. So he brings in Grafify. I know that without terrain, this is probably Swagger Mental Herb. Is Mental Herb the one that reduces confusion? I guess I'll see in a second. So I want to go for damage since it's going to boost up and get rid of its stuff. So I go for Triple Axle, which is just the best damage move on this. He goes for Swagger. I could have knocked off too, I guess, but I have a plan on what I'm going to do. I don't need Uxie. Uxie is going to fall to knock off after the acrobatics. I guess that's an argument for adding Colberberry instead. I mean, this is just my version of the team, I think. But no, I bring it back in to get that Fake Out. And from here, Espeon is going to have a really, really tough time. And he forfeits, realizing that. And that is the battle. That's the team. I like it. I really like what I've come up with. Let me know what you think of the team down below. I have been the Archduck. Thanks for watching.